All right, welcome back to WMAC Now with your host, Chuck Stevenson, coming at you with a special event preview. So we're going to Long Island, New York for UFC on ABC3, Ortega versus Rodriguez, aka UFC Fight Night Long Island. We've got 3 ladies fights on this card, and as has become the norm with a UFC Fight Night on the road, these 3 fights are actually pretty darn good. All 3 feature ranked fighters, so this one should be a good fight night for the ladies. Not the usual Apex unranked, totally inconsequential fights that sometimes are delivering and sometimes don't. Like these fights actually have some weight behind them. Like there are some consequences depending on who wins each of these fights. So I'm really looking forward to this one. Anyway, let's get into these fights. Starting off at Strawweight, we've got Jessica Penne taking on Emily Ducote. This is a battle of veterans here. Penne, a longtime veteran, a long time in the UFC since Ultimate Fighter 20 in 2014. Been at Strawweight since then. Emily Ducote is the current Invicta Strawweight champion. Actually started off. Before that, she was in Bellator fighting at Flyweight, came to Invicta, went back down to her natural weight class of Strawweight, where she had actually started her career, and has been on an upward trend since then. This is going to be her UFC debut. So we've got a battle of 2 veterans, one of them a longtime UFC veteran, and the other finally getting into the UFC here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the stats on this one. So Penne coming in at 14-5, Gordina coming in at 11-6. Now Penne is riding 2 straight wins, a split decision over Lupita Godinez a little over a year ago, and then most recently defeated Karolina Kowalkiewicz via armbar 10 months ago. Ducote riding 3 straight wins. Most recently defended the Invicta Strawweight title against Alicia Zapatella, scoring a TKO due to doctor stoppage just a little over 2 months ago. So Ducote a little bit more recently active. 11-year age difference in this one here. Ducote much younger at 28 to 39 for Penne. Though Penne had a bit of a break, almost 4 years inactive, and so not quite as much wear and tear recently, but still that's an 11 years. That's a big difference. Penne is going to have the reach on this one, 5 feet 5 inches, 166 centimeters to 5 feet 2 inches, 157 centimeters for Ducote, and Penne's going to have the reach as well, 67 inches, 170 centimeters to 64 inches, 163 centimeters for Ducote. This is going to be an interesting one. I think that in range, at range, I think it is Ducote's fight. She might not be, she's the shorter of the 2. She doesn't have the reach of Penne, but Penne has never been, a rangy fighter. Where Penne excels usually is in the phone booth, in the pocket, in the clinch. She likes getting in there on the inside, and then she also excels really well on the ground. I mean, she's a BJJ black belt, well known for her submissions, and actually using her length to her advantage on the ground in multiple situations. Ducote, no slouch on the ground either, but she actually excels at range in the striking, unlike Penne. This is going to be very dangerous for Penne on the outside. If she can't get inside on Ducote, it's going to be very dangerous for her. For Ducote, I think it's going to be dangerous in that middle range to the inside for her against Penne. I think she's tough enough to pull it out. On the ground, I actually see this being roughly even. Penne's biggest problem is that she doesn't have the greatest of takedowns. So I see her actually having trouble getting it to the ground in this one. I'm going to go with the UFC debutante in this one, Emily Ducote. This is a hard pick for me too, because I like both of these fighters. I'm going to be cheering for, a good performance from both of them, no matter who wins. But I'm going to go with Ducote to win this one and have a successful UFC debut. Moving along to the flyweight division. We've got Lauren Murphy taking on Miesha Tate in Tate's flyweight debut. She successfully made weight earlier today from this recording. Now we just got to see if she can perform. She's been a career bantamweight, never fought at flyweight before. Murphy, on the other hand, she started out at bantamweight and then, dropped down to flyweight for the third season of The Ultimate Fighter to feature the ladies. It was the all-ladies flyweight season that really introduced that division. Took a big risk at the time, too. She said, you know what, put me in on The Ultimate Fighter. I'll make the weight consistently. And that actually kind of helped save her UFC career at that time. And it's paid off for her in the long term. But this is a good fight between two very tough, very durable veterans. And for Tate, this could be the career resurgence she needed after coming out of retirement and, having mixed results back up at bantamweight. So this could be like, another chance for her to, seek gold. For Murphy, this is a chance to take out, honestly, a women's MMA. Well, we'll say it. Tate's a legend. So this is a big scalp for Lauren Murphy if she gets it. Let's go ahead and talk about the stats on this one. Lucky coming in at 15-5. Cupcake coming in at 19-8. Both ladies coming off of losses in their most recent fights. Now, Murphy was on a win streak until she met up with the current flyweight champ Valentina Shevchenko, where she lost via TKO 8 months ago. Tate fought just slightly more recently, dropped a unanimous decision to Ketlen Vieira 7 months ago. That was back up at bantamweight. Tate's going to be 3 years younger, 35 to 38 for Murphy. Tate is also slightly taller than Murphy. I'm a little bit surprised here. 5 feet 6 inches, 168 centimeters to 5'5", 165 centimeters for Murphy. However, Murphy has the reach advantage here. 68 inches, 173 centimeters to 66.5 inches, 169 centimeters for Tate. All right, let's get down to it. My pick for this one is going to be Lauren Murphy. Now, you might be thinking, come on, Chuck. Tate's, the former bantamweight champ. She's fought a lot better and beaten better competition than Murphy. And you'd be right. But that was a long time ago for Miesha Tate. I mean, she took almost 5 years off. Whereas in that 5 years, Murphy, had almost I think her entire UFC career has been within that 5 years. So, yeah, Murphy's a little bit older and, hasn't faced quite the caliber of competition that Tate has, but Tate's career is largely behind her. And think about this. What does Tate do? What is her best attribute? Her wrestling. But not much else. Her striking really hasn't improved in all the years that she was gone. She basically came back pretty much the same fighter that she left. That's a lot of development in 5 years. Now, Murphy, she doesn't particularly excel at anything. But she does everything just well enough, I mean, she can strike well enough to beat strikers. She can wrestle well enough to beat a lot of wrestlers. She can grapple well enough to beat a lot of grapplers. She does everything well without being excellent in any of them. She's like a jack of all trades. She is a quintessential mixed martial artist. One thing that each of these fighters have, though, is grit. I think this fight is going to come down to who has the most grit. Tate is known for, honestly being able to take some beatings and come back from, being behind in fights and pick up wins. But Murphy is a grinder. I mean, an absolute grinder. Like you go in, it's like you're fighting fighting Lauren Murphy is like trying to swim upstream. Like, you might do well at first, but she's going to wear you down. And I think that's going to be the big factor here. We don't know if what Tate's going to look like at flyweight. She looked emaciated on the scale. Is her cardio going to be okay? Is she bringing that strength down from bantamweight? I just don't know. I mean, just don't know what Tate's going to look like. And in there against a tough grinder like Murphy, who has more weapons than Tate overall, I think it's going to be too much for Miesha Tate. And I think lucky Lauren Murphy is going to get the win here. So we're going with Murphy. We'll go with Murphy via decision. So then we move on to the co-main event in the strawweight division. Two top 10 ranked fighters, Michelle Waterson-Gomez. She's finally using her married name, taking on Amanda Lemos. The odds on this one are very interesting so far. You know, a lot of people are saying, this is the end of the career for Waterson. Lemos is still kind of tracking upwards. I think this fight's going to tell us a lot about where their career trajectories are. So this should be a really good one. I think it's a risky fight for both of them because for Waterson, she's going up against one of the more dangerous strikers in the division, a strawweight with genuine knockout power, who's, finished, at least half her wins in the UFC. For Lemos, she's taking on someone who is high risk without a whole lot of reward. I mean, yeah, it's a chance to move up the rankings, but not by much. I think it's one spot, maybe two. Let me see. Actually, it'd be a move down if she loses. So, because right now Waterson is listed at 10, no, it'd be one spot up into the top 10. So Lemos is at 11, Waterson is at 10. So it'd be like a spot to get into the top 10, but just barely. Whereas a loss to Waterson, who's seen as one of the easiest fighters in the top 10, would definitely set her back. And it'd be a second straight loss for her as well. So this is a good fight, an interesting fight. Let's take a look at the stats real quick here. The Karate Hottie coming in at 18-9, whereas Amanda coming in at 11-2-1. Like I said, both fighters coming in off of recent losses. For Waterson-Gomez, it was to Marina Rodriguez via decision a little over a year ago, up at flyweight on short notice, by the way. For Lemos, she lost a little under 2 months ago to Jessica Andrade, got submitted via arm triangle choke in the first round. Age is very similar here. Now, Lemos isn't nearly as far into her career as Waterson, but she's only a year younger, 35 to 36. And I'm actually surprised by the size difference here. Only 1 inch height difference here. 5 feet 4 inches, 163 centimeters for Lemos to 5 feet 3 inches, 161 centimeters for Gomez. Bigger differential in the reach, though. 65 inches, 165 centimeters for Lemos to 62 inches, 157 centimeters for Waterson-Gomez. So if you look at the odds that were on the previous slide there, according to Topology, it's minus 325, moderate favorite for Lemos, to plus 270, moderate underdog for Waterson-Gomez, the Karate Hottie. Pretty favorable fight for Lemos as far as the odds go. I think this is a lot closer than a lot of people are thinking. Waterson's a bit of a puzzle for a lot of fighters. Now, Lemos does have that power, but she has to land. Waterson, I think, is going to be hard to hit because she likes to fight at full range. She likes to use her kicks to keep distance. It's going to make it a little bit harder for Lemos to get in there and get those power punches going. And if she gets inside, Waterson will be happy to clinch. Now, usually Waterson uses the clinch in order to get her takedowns. I think she's going to have a harder time getting Lemos down to the ground with her, her usual head and arm throw. So I think she's going to have a hard time doing that. But we've seen Lemos in the clinch. She tends to get worn down in the clinch. Tends to get worn down, gets a little bit tired, she had a hard time dealing with Angela Hill in the clinch. A lot of people thought Angela Hill honestly won that bout. So I think Michelle should definitely have studied that fight. And honestly, the Mizuki Inoue fight too. Inoue took it to Lemos in the clinch. Now Lemos won, but that was one of the fights where she went to decision. So if I were Waterson, I'd look to either keep it at the distance, avoid those punches, or if Lemos does manage to get inside, look to that clinch. For Lemos, keep it at boxing range. That's where she does her best work. That's where she lands the most damage. Now, she's going to have to use her footwork here to get Waterson. Waterson's going to be doing her Jackson Wink thing. She's going to be staying on the outside, and she uses those kicks. I definitely see Waterson throwing a lot of, the side kicks, particularly to the lead leg. She loves doing that. But those kicks, especially if she overextends herself or misses, if Lemos can time those kicks to make Waterson miss, she's been vulnerable to that in the past. And that would allow Lemos to land either her own kicks, which she lands some very strong kicks, or to extend a little bit, use that 3-inch reach advantage, and land those bombs. This is a tough pick. Like I said, I think this is a lot closer than people give it credit to. I think the longer the fight goes, the more it favors Waterson. I'm going Waterson here via decision. Am I 100% on that? Absolutely not. But we've seen Waterson in there against big, strong, tough opponents before. She's more durable than people give her credit for. When was the last time she was finished? It's been a while. It was since the Rose fight, I believe. So I don't see this one getting finished. I think people tend to overestimate Lemos' striking just a little bit. Just a little bit. She has the power, but the caliber of fighters that she tends to land it on aren't always that great, or certainly aren't the top 10 level of fighters. So I'm going to go with Waterson via decision, but this is the pick that I am least sure on. But that's going to be my pick. Anyway, those are my thoughts. UFC on ABC 3, Ortega versus Rodriguez, a.k.a. UFC Fight Night Long Island. Now, this card is on early tomorrow, Saturday, July 16th. The prelims start at 11 a.m. on the East Coast. That is early. I don't know why they're starting that early. It's not like UFC or it's not like ABC has anything going on as far as their time slot goes for Saturday night. So I don't know why it's so early. Maybe it's the venue. Who knows? But prelims start 11 a.m. and the main card starts about 2 p.m. on the East Coast. So if you're on the West Coast, you're getting up early. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on the fight in the comments down below. Like the video, please give it a like, share it as well, spread the word. In the meantime, if you haven't yet, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to WMMA Scene Now, the best, most complete women's mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.